FPX have come in and chosen Bind, I believe.
They have something prepared.
Yeah.
I 100% that Eric, that Doombros, their coach, has been preparing something very specific for that Bind, because, you know, that both of the teams have been trying things, but actually, Olo hasn't even played hasn't even played that Bind on both stages. I think they actually have been avoiding it since they qualified to be in VCT. Haven is kind of predictable as well for the side of FPX, because it was Oglu's home ground for a long time.
I mean, it's here, like OG banned Bind 6 times this year, and FPX have banned it 7.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that we're going there, like, FPX have to have it prepared, and OG, yeah, this is the sort of risk of banning out different stuff instead that you're going to get pulled here. So, you know, this is the FPX masterclass when it comes to the mind games, but realistically, how often has that backfired for teams like the last couple of weeks?
It doesn't matter, it's FPX, it's on a different level. They come very, very prepared, but so is OG going to do. What we're expecting to see on this Haven, the first map, is the changes. A lot of them.
I love it! I love it! I love it! Okay, I'm on the train. I'm on the train. I'm on the train.
We can't go to casters yet because Mitch needed to just quickly go to the bathroom. I don't
We
think he
almost
could.
I
had
love
a
it.
mirror come here.
I'm so happy.
Stage?
Okay, I
really
gotta say, in my opinion, the Chamber Fade Raze is the strongest possible meta trio that teams can bring out. And with on these players, you say hype on Raze, right? You're about to be absolutely amazed at what this guy can do.
I mean, I'm just glad that Mitch is casting this one because he's going to have an absolute whale of a time. For FPX, like you said, like Sage on Haven isn't unheard of, but it's not been meta for a while. So I want to see, with what you said about like the Fade, the Raze, how much that's really coming into trend, whether the Sage is an answer to that or whether they have something else in mind.
I love the fact that we were hyping up Destrin to play on the Fade, and Mosi goes and pick it up for the first map. Very interesting, but I think that FPX might be lacking some initiating power, especially opening onto the sites and actually getting that information, just playing with that double sentinel here.
Yeah, after seeing the agents, like, I can't wait to get into game. I hope Mitch has actually returned from the bathroom. Over to you two to get us into map 1.
Well, you know what, Sue? I just about made my way back. Yeah, seconds ago, I was sitting down. So thank you for delaying so long. Of course, we've had the players on standby too, Tom. I think we're ready to just get right on into the game. What do you think?
Oh, I think we've got a banger matchup. We've got some cool changes in the compositions, and I'm excited to see what OG London United have got for FPX.
And we're kicking things off with a Haven in this series. It was OG London United who chose it, so they'll start out on the attack side and look to take down FPX. This is a big opponent for them, though, Tom, isn't it?
Yeah, I think obviously this is going to be a difficult one for them to try and pull off, and the fact that the comps are very similar even is something that worries me a bit more, because man for man, pound for pound, I definitely favor FPX, so well, I'll be interested to see what they can do here. Now, this used to be a very strong map for OG London United. Then they played versus Fnatic, and I didn't really think that anymore. So hopefully they've managed to fix some of the issues. And the fact that these changes have been so drastic in how they've actually switched up the comp, it does give me a little bit of faith.
And we've already seen the wall used up by FPX just to keep that little bit of a control, just to slow down the push that was about to come through on the other side. But OG London United take it elsewhere. They start to look at the A site, and there's only one player here, but look at FPX. They're starting to gravitate towards this position a little bit, starting to feel the push and pull of the map, and Xiao about to find out how many of them there are here. 2 kills. He does well to find that. Artis only with the 1. Even still, that's going to keep them well and truly favored in this one. And with 47 HP on Destrin, this should be an easy close.
Yeah, I think Zipan's even just going to try and swing this. 17 HP. At least managed to reduce his HP a little bit, and well, eventually FPX are going to be there for the close. Solid start, and yeah, I think again, like a lot of the picks that we're seeing going into this map for FPX, and the thing that I think is going to make them most fearsome is if I think of specific agents that almost resonate with different players. Okay, Artist would probably be Jet, but in recent times that's become Chamber. Xiao has probably been one of the most impressive fades we've seen thus far. Zipan's Raze is something that we've seen for a couple of years now in Valorant, and it's always phenomenal. And then Angel going back to that controller role. So I genuinely do think that this is just a much more sort of comfortable composition for them. And okay, sure, it's been a while since we've seen them play the map, but For FPX, that never means too much. Oh, God.
Spike down, C.
Well, that is a pretty convincing second round, I think. 53 HP on Hype. Very tough fight. Not one that he'll get anything done in. 2-0.
Out of curiosity, for anybody who didn't know, because Mitch definitely doesn't bring this up too often, Hype, I think he used to be the analyst of his team. Yeah?
Yes, I believe.
So
I've worked with Hype a little.
Yeah, so he's renowned more so for his Sentinels, correct? Yes. How's his Raze?
I think Hype can play pretty much everything. I don't think Raze is a problem for him. Off memory,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he has a solid Raze, but it's been quite a while since I've seen him flexing into that. So I don't know. In this day and age, you know, up against this kind of meta, I don't see any reason why he can't step up and put the numbers up. I've always loved his Sentinel play, but yeah, we'll see what they bring to the table on this one. We'll slow down for Sugetsu and keep him back another moment longer. His delays have been very good so far. What I'm enjoying about it is very rarely thus far is he overextending. I mean, really patient players, Sugetsu in general. You tell him to hold Garage, he'll do it, and he won't go down, you know, in the first 5 seconds like some people. Tom.
Of course. I think that's something that Angel will always find as well. Like, I think with the pickup of Saigetsu, it's obviously a while ago now. It was definitely not someone I think we expected within that roster move, but Angel's always been incredible at finding players to fit the spots he needs. Now, Zipan, well, a spot they needed to clear, and they've done just that, already managing to take that initial fight. There are a couple of rifles in this round, though, for FPX, so it's not going to be easy for OG to get anything done in this scenario, and they're actually going to go falling all the way back. The one thing I'm worried about is just look where Artis is.
It's the fact that he can TP, right? That's the main problem. This would be a risk for most players, but happy to take one, get on out of there. And that is it. Perfect for a round like this. OG London United coming on site with their rifles. They've got Sugetsu, but Artis gets another 2. That's fantastic. A Rolling Thunder, though, might just end the round, and indeed it does.
I thought for a second he was actually going to get away with that Shadow Step, but no. Destrian there to close it. Still expensive, though. Like the fact that you've had to use a Rolling Thunder versus a bonus. Now you've got Artis. Well, 3 kills was hugely impactful for him because he's now going to have a Tour de Force, which makes him all the more terrifying. You've also got Nightfall onto Xiao, which again is another ult that can either be used just for delaying or perfect for a retake. So things aren't about to get any easier. And unfortunately for OG, this buy is worse than the last.
No, a couple weaknesses in there still. Not necessarily something that will lose the round for them. This Tour de Force on the other side, though, huge value found by Artis already. Knowing him, he's going to re-aggress on that angle. He's been flashed off. Prowler on its way. He's caught him. He's going to TP out of there. Wise choice, giving up the control.
Well, that's the thing. With the wall up, there's no risk. There's absolutely no way anybody could have killed him, so they've got out with an opener for free. They've also delayed almost down to a minute with nothing really being taken on the other side. And OG are just going to have to fall back here. Try and reclaim some extra space that they might have lost. Now, sure, they still have some deep control, but you can already see because of the amount of work they've done, there's been a rotation. And again, if you're going to get into a B-site afterplant with a Nightfall online, you have to be a little bit careful.
Well, that's Hype down and out of it. The A aggression not working, but it was all just to get these rotations to open up the site, to get the plant. The numbers are thinning, though. Someone's got to step it up and find some kills. Destrian onto Xiao. That's something, but Malsey's stuck on the site. I think Destrian's about to be alone! What? He's lining them up and collided them! The ult's out! The hunt up high, the information, and Malsey even going to get an upgrade off the back of that. This should have been done a 1v4.
No way.
Okay, it will go to FPX in the end. What a fight from Malsey, though. Ultimately, it gets them nothing.
Oh, I genuinely believed for a second that it was going to get dangerous, but luckily when you've got players like Artis and Saigetsu left, it wasn't really too much of a danger. A bit closer than they would have liked. The thing is, though, it's a round where ultimately both teams needed it for their economy. So although you're in a spot where you're like, oh, okay, like they managed to make it costly, it really is irrelevant in terms of FPX, because the next buy that comes through is going to be a really weak one. This, that was the only shot that could have connected on a double. It's just a little bit of luck that goes a long way. But as I said, the only real danger in this round is going to be Becker's and invested into a rifle. Obviously for him, you get 2 kills here, or even you get an orb and a kill and then die, you have your tour de force. So it's not that much of a risk.
There's the wall as to get to again. This time not broken early. It's going to buy them a lot more information in the late round. Artis up top. Well, not even needed. Zipban's here to take the off angle. Hype's down from just up above, and the spray. It's just perfect. If he got another
Stop
from that.
knifing my wall.
Last player standing.
Oh, that's got to be frustrating. But I bet afterwards, if you're Destrin, you're thinking, I probably should have seen that one coming, if I'm honest. Like, that wall is paper, and he knows exactly where I am because I'm knifing it. Nice round from Saigetsu. That's Raz online as well. So again, farming up another ultimate for the squad, only losing 1 player. I also just think this map in general, it's similarly to watching someone like Wardell. Like, you're going to be pressured. You're going to be having a player that's consistently aggressive. And sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. And that's the problem with Artis. Like, we are starting to see his peak performance once again in this FPX squad, and have done for quite a while. Now, him playing support roles, it didn't make sense. And I'm glad that we're now just saying, okay, this man is a chamber main, and that's exactly what we need from him.
Yep, something we've certainly asked for a while. Oh, Hype has gotten away with it, hasn't he? Taking down Angel. FPX losing the man early. How do they respond to this? Well, fighting for the control. Zipban wanted to stick around. He still will, but he's not seen anyone on the other side.
He put down the wall with a gap in it. This man's an absolute rat. He intentionally placed that wall so that there was enough space that he could take a peek. That's going to be something they're going to have to be careful of for the rest of the game.
That's got to be one of the first times we've seen that used, and so successfully as well. The conditioning clear just a couple of rounds in. Like I said, up until then, Sugetsu hadn't really been overextending, right? He played so passive, and now right up into their face. This fight down in sewers, well, it's not ideal with the stun going down on the other side, slowing anyone else from helping them out. That's a TP all the way into the spawn. He's going to be caught now. Oh, Xiao. If he had found that kill,
30 seconds left.
it would have been round over.
But even still, though, Artis has managed to get a kill on the other side, so they're still stuck in the mud. 2 versus 3. They're going to have to try and aggress at least in one direction, because otherwise you're just being pinched from every single angle. They could split this push through, and, well, somewhere will need to fall. Artis going to go for the peak, and he wins the battle. Of course he does. Not missing a beat today. And now Boo, well, he got away with a cheeky kill to get them to spike down in the first place. Now has to clear. Nice shot onto 1. That TP's way too risky for Angel. It comes down to 1, but luckily, the rock of this game so far, Saigetsu, will put their 5th on the board.
Some pretty risky plays indeed, but it's Saigetsu, the safe man, to pull those ones, or those rounds off in the end. And I mean, 10-1.
Yeah.
This guy, he is doing better than Artis in terms of KD, which is impressive, but it's the control. It's the fact that he's consistently keeping control over this area. We saw with the wall down, his spams, his fighting above it. It's not conceded map control, so dealing with that wall is a problem. And now, well, even the wall being up, you can't ignore it because he might be walking around it. So he is just such a bother for this OG attacking side, and it looks like they want to deal with him early this round.
Yeah, intelligent plays just being made to switch things up slightly. Even still, though, peeking into him hasn't been easy, but that's a good trade. OG managed to bring things even, and also they're going to get themselves a rifle for it as well. Destrin with that in hand. Now, there's a lot of ults that are very, very close. You can see Angel playing deep, wanting to deny the orb. In fact, they're doing that on both sides, just making sure that there's nothing for that in terms of the tour de force to be found, but also with a potential of a rolling thunder, this round could get dangerous.
this timer keeps on ticking away. You look at FPX's map control, man. They are all the way up past their opponents. They smoked off the trap on C long. Now the flank is coming through, and it's free. Yay, Angel. He got there in the end. And Artist is here to help from window. Angel will be swinging. The round should be closed out nice and easy. There you go. Just the 2 losses for them. 6-1. This is a dominant start for FPX. Not a good sign for OG London United, Tom, but there's always time for that attacking side to kind of warm up into it. I'm starting to feel like that time, I don't want to say it's come and gone just yet, but it's very nearly here.
Yeah, I also think the fact that both your duelists, yes, Chamber's a duelist, 1 and 6, 1 and 7. That's really not a good sign. Like, Hype has not been off to the greatest start. Also, the one kill he got was when he got caught jumping in the air and the player was stunned. So it's like, other than that, little to no impact so far. Vecchio as well, that's his role within the team. They just need him to be finding openers, and at the moment they're getting slaughtered. Like, it doesn't matter who they face. Xiao's been getting opening picks. Ardis has got a numerous amount of opening picks, and even Saigetsu as well. And that's the thing. A lot of Saigetsu's role in this team is to delay. If he's on 11 frags, that just means that either you're not trading effectively or he's being able to get away with way too much, which we've definitely seen so far. The problem with this map is that either you need to use the pace of it to your advantage, which I don't think they've been able to do so far because a lot of the extremities have been highly pressured, or you need to catch that aggression, which OG also haven't been able to do.
That solution has to be found, that pause called. And with 4 ultimates to play with, look, if you're not able to win this round here, I'm not too confident about the rest of them. And this attack side needs to build, and the reason that they've got to find a solution and find rounds convincingly, you can't just win this one with, 3 ults used and then go, hey, well, that's good, right? We won a round. Like, you got to show me that you can win the next round and the one after.
Look at Angel's here within the first 15 to 20 seconds of the round. Already, he's even going to have time to drop back down. Okay, he's not going to get another one. That's at least something. Ardis had the operator, still the trap in position, and now you've got that cross being held. Ultimates both popped into the back of the site. That's so much information involved. They didn't actually spot him out at least. This is everything thrown into this round for OG London United, and well, they've got a man advantage for it.
Spike planted.
That's it. A one-man advantage after all of those ultimates thrown through, and there's a couple on the other side that still haven't answered up just yet. Ulti was taken down before the showstopper could land, but the damage was done. No scope needed. That stun was perfect. Another shot landed. It's Vecchio this time to deal the final blow and put OG London United on the map. They've got a second round. Like I said, though, Tom, come into that with 5 ults. I think I said 3. Use 4 of them. And, well, if I don't care.
It's the
if
least
you don't win that
recreatable round
leave.
in history. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody use a Rolling Thunder into a Nightfall at the same time, because they're such high impact ults that, and also, a showstopper, all 3 at once. You had the information, the players were stunned, and you had a bazooka. I'm not going to sit here and say like that's a game-changing round, because now you need to do something without it. Hopefully for them, it's just boosted the confidence a little bit, but also it's put them in an okay spot economically. You got a couple of players who could still rebuy.
Oh, Hype's down right away. Operator landing. Artist coming in with the tour de force as well. 2 scopes about to be staring at them, but Angel gets dropped immediately. Good shot by Artist. He's out for more and catching them shot after shot. He might be revealed, but he doesn't give a damn. Support up close to the rifle. Look, he's coming back out. You know he is. You can already see it. Waiting, biding his time a moment. Prowler confirms they're there, and Artist, an itchy trigger finger, got to be coming through soon, but it's the setup. It's just too strong with 3 players here. They don't want to overextend.
Oh, they do actually check for it. Nice kill coming out of Vecchio as well. Even baiting out the shot. They know the Artist is still here, but that doesn't mean that you can stop him. Even going to go back for the swing, but will fall, giving a chance, but instantly Xiao is there. The push and pull to get them back into the round, and well, 7-2. And then this is the thing that I think is so enjoyable about FPX, is you have players like Ardis, and even I'll put Angel in this bracket as well, who to an extent, are insane. Like, in the best possible way, are insane. Like, re-peeking again and again and again because you have the confidence in your ability. And then you have Saigetsu on the other side who goes, I'm going to hold this angle until I die. I will stay here forever. The universe could implode. I will still be stood on this angle, or I'll be floating on this. You get the point.
Oh, that's going to be Boo dealt with immediately. Not exactly the start that OG London United are looking for in this round. That operator's still there to be dealt with. Artis,
He hit
himself another. Oh, that was it. Oh, it was 9 HP. Yes. You are correct. Oh my.
For a split second, you might have thought that Artis missed.
I did.
He doesn't miss.
I very much thought that shot did not connect, but yeah, just a pixel away from getting a kill by the looks of things. I mean, this is a scary start if you're this attacking side. They put all their credits into this round, and already it's very, very heavily favoring FPX.
Yeah, again, it's worth noting this is OG's map pick. So in the past, they were incredible on it. They got battered by Fnatic, and while at the moment FPX are doing exactly the same thing, there's a reason this was considered that group of death. G2 were a part of that, although OG dispatching of them, I think, gave us that sort of hope, that chance to get something in. Oh, it's not pretty. Did he actually manage to escape? He managed to use the from the shadows to get out of there. Are you kidding?
This game is full of surprises.
No, that's the most there's a guy shooting at you and you go, from the shadows, see you later, and you just TP out. I can't believe that was Angel's thought process. Please say we have a replay of that. That's one of the most mental things I've ever seen anyone do. Is just go, I'm being shot at. Away!
Houdini! Just pops a smoke bomb. He's out of there. I think
he's already left at this point. But yeah, no, that's
a little bit early. A little. Sorry,
that's crazy. Because I was sort of looking at it in my head, I was like, oh, he's just shadow stepped or he's dead. Like, that was the only two options in my brain. And then I see him on the other side of the map. I'm like, you're a lunatic. Oh, I love watching Angel play. I love it.
Train harder.
Oh, there's Hype down, and somehow Saigetsu gets the time to find that other kill. I'll say this is definitely a problem now. The paranoia is perfect. They got revealed on backside. You know, Feku is just the one they want fighting right now. He's got the rifle. He's trying to farm up to get that tour de force. That's why Boo didn't even finish planting there. I reckon they want Feku to be the one planting. If not, they want to just grab some more kills. Already good for one. Tour de force online next round, guaranteed. So it's already a success.
Oh, he's even got it now. If they really wanted to go for some, never mind. He's actually picked up an operator. Starting to look somewhat possible, which out of all of the rounds, I didn't expect this to be the one. Long being watched as well. Still a bit of utility available for Xiao to play with. Just trying to jiggle peek. Doesn't want to give Boo the chance, but instead the res is actually going to be utilized. And while Feku trying to challenge that, isn't going to get anything. Boo left to try and fight this one through. And, well, it's a nice attempt, but ultimately FPX didn't sweat too much.
Yeah, best of a bad situation there for Boo. 9-2. OG London United are not looking too hot starting out their map pick, and this is where FPX really look to just close this out. Double digits on the board. At that point, a pistol will practically win you the game. And the resurgence of hype last week hasn't really carried over, and I think that raise, I don't want to say it's the raise itself. I think a lot of this is coming off the back of the setups that they were hoping to use.
Let's play.
Especially himself combining with Malsey. Thank you here, grabbing an opening. TP to backside. Information galore, and they've got full control.
He's actually still swinging this. Bear in mind, as of this moment, he can't hear a thing. So just purely based on trying to land the shots. But for now, at least, Eshin regressing. He doesn't win the battle, but Hype's there alongside him. Blast Pack should just about keep him alive. And they look like they might have themselves at least the curse.
Yeah, we've already seen it come through earlier today. The 9-3 scoreline. The curse didn't hold.
Yeah, I think the curse is BS, if I'm honest.
I think so.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm with you. You don't have the what's the time you're known as the king of copium?
I
You
don't
have
think anyone has ever called me that other than you.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I've heard that. Pretty sure I've heard you refer to yourself as that. But all right, Tom.
Of course.
I'm pretty sure Sue can back me up on that one.
Yes, it's a reliable source of information.
Oh, we know she was a journalist for a long time. You know, so yeah, it sounds about right.
Oh God, 9-3, FPX. Well, to say a pistol win would put this to bed has been an understatement. Saigetsu artists have just been slamming OG repeatedly into the ground. Like, the fact that Saigetsu is basically playing the Battle Sage, something we definitely haven't seen for quite a while, it's not a good sign. And OG desperately need to get themselves something here. Now, moving on to the defense, again, you could hope for the same sort of opportunities for Fekyu. I think there will be a lot more for him here. But you're also relying, I feel like, on FPX not having a lot of strategies, which, hey, the artist and Angel Go kill strat's going very well so far.
Certainly seems to be working out for now. Hype, though, looking to put a stop to that, already showing up and stopping majority of the push, but they're about to swing out wide. Nice. Xiao dropped. I think that's doubled Hype's kills. Not more than that. He's had a rough time so far, but he's given his team a chance on this one. The heal back up onto Artist, though, makes it that little bit more difficult for Fekyu. One bullet left in the Headhunter.
Oh no, he's not done that. He just knows too well the angles of his own walls. It's like, I've placed this down, it's not perfect, there's a little gap in it, I'm gonna peek the gap. I'm really, like, I know it sounds bad, but of all the players on this team, the ones you've got Zipan, one of the best raises we ever had, like, over a long span of EMEA. He's playing all right. Xiao on a fade, something incredibly enjoyable. Angel shadow stepping into random angles. Artist being one of the most aggressive players in all of Valorant. One I've enjoyed the most so far, Saigetsu playing the Sage. His cast is going to be off the charts.
I really didn't think that was going to be the take home. I know I said starting it out like, hey, I like this guy's I like his sensibilities, you know, like I really enjoyed the way that he doesn't overextend, and then he's like, I've actually got a few new things for you to enjoy today. A few new tricks.
I calculated in my head that this perfect gap in the wall is going to give me a free kill. It's like, okay, cool. I don't know how you've done that, but well done.
Artist is in a bit of trouble here if those pistols started to flood on through, but they've stalled out a little bit, and he's got some help now.
Last player standing.
As you can see, they're making quick work of that one.
Ballsy. Okay, it's a nice timing. Oh, it gets a couple. You know what? What was looking like a flawless round out from FPX now at least is a little bit dangerous, but of course Artist spamming the smoke is going to be there to close it out. They're going to have a little bit to retrieve as well, but ultimately, again, like, you might say that that's not a bad round in isolation, but it's 11-3. It really doesn't matter that much at this point.
Yeah, and it is one of those situations where you're going to turn around and say, well, either we all have the literal game of our lives, the half of our lives, or this is a map 2. Not the best of situations for OG London United. I do feel like, you know, especially when you're the underdog in the situation they're in, overall in the groups, you know, this is a team that we want to see warming up into it, getting better and better. Remember, they still had that game to close out the season up against Focus. And if they were to win this, they would be guaranteed that they would not be going out, you know, but that game against Focus is potentially going to put them down the bottom if they end up losing this one. And yeah, it's not the best of starts here either. Rifles to play with. Deathstream's about to walk in, but he's gone.
Okay.
At least found the kill.
Yeah, nice shot. Gonna get themselves something here. Fekyu should have an easy TP away. Angel does have a rifle. Oh, okay. Oh, Angel took 0 damage and he's on 1 HP. Oh no, and he's just gonna get slaughtered. Artist, that could be a gun into his hands as well. Not something that you really needed to come through. Already though, Molesy has been able to turn this one back. Remember, this is a bonus on the other side. Nice spray from Molesy. The trade's coming back through, and now it's left all onto the Super Sage himself. But this time, it will be OG to get themselves a 4th round.
Well, you can see this defensive side, certainly a fresh face on Hype after that. I don't know what's happened in between the halves, but he's starting to look activated, creeping up that scoreboard 1 round at a time. And now Showstopper's online to play with, thanks to the pretty strong amount of kills last couple of rounds. I can't think of how many it was exactly, but he's had at least 5 popped off. Was he on? I think he was on 3 in the previous half. Yeah.
Well, he definitely got 3 in the pistol.
Either way, he's got enough to get Showstopper online. And
Yeah, that's the most important part of that.
He's solo holding the C site now. Again, another interesting switch of having Feku trying to take these duels on A long. I guess it's because they don't want to be like holding deep down A long, considering the fact you're up against a tour de force right now.
Yeah, I think the worry for me is that if FPX managed to bait out the small pieces of utility they have for delaying, this could be very dangerous. That's why Destrian and Boo have to be really careful. Because the thing is, they don't have something like a Sage. They don't have like a place they could wall off, some slows they could put down. A lot of it's going to rely on either individuals hitting their shots or just getting the right information for the stack, which, again, it's not an easy way to play on the defense. If anything, I would say that OG's comp looks a little bit better set up for that attacking side, which went so atrociously.
Well, some sprays coming through, the timing not ideal on them, and well, right on into the site we go. Zipan not going to get the height that he wanted up on top of the boxes. Play instead for the backside, actually avoid this ultimate altogether. If they try to retake the space,
30 seconds left.
could be in for some big value kills. Showstopper on its way, doesn't land anything. Hype even goes down right after. Tagetsu falling. The control here for OG London United really being pulled back into their favor. Now all they've got to do is deal with Artis.
Yeah, and luckily for them, he doesn't have much time to play with. Doesn't have much to lose. Has managed to retrieve a rifle. Keeping that would be nice, but they're going to close this one down comfortably. A good return to form for OG, and more importantly, I'll be interested to see what the finances are actually like going into the next round. It's not particularly pretty. Now, it is worth noting Artis can afford to go for a rifle here because he didn't actually buy in that round. He saved and obviously used the Tour de Force as a freebie gun. So there's still going to be a bit of danger here, but OG looking like they're stabilizing a little bit. And Mozzi's actually, he's positive now, which considering the scoreline, hey, it's not bad.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, 11-5 down. It's rare to see a player with numbers like he has right now. And we need to see so much more from this side of OG London United. This is a tough comeback. And like you said, certainly a better face to them. I think we're seeing that individually. We're seeing it as a team as time goes on. Maybe needing that time to warm up into the series. But with it being their map pick up first, it's just the real kicker of this situation, right? Because you can warm up and look better. But the reality is, FPX on Haven, you know, I don't expect them to be trash on it. I mean, we've seen them, you know, the Fnatic, the Liquid games, they won both of those. Like they've looked good. But it's the bind. Well, things could get a little bit risky.
That's the thing. Neither team will have any data really when it comes to bind, because FPX haven't played it since February, so it's a long time ago. And on the other side, they haven't played it since January. So it literally is a map that neither side is particularly playing. And I feel like that plays more into FPX's hands, because I don't think FPX are going to come in and try and counter OG. I don't think they need to. Whereas OG, I think, desperately needs something to try and deny FPX.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Too late.
Well, there's a denial. Artis dropped right away, but Zipan's able to trade it back out. Rifle retrieve. Fight taking place. Xiao. Whoa, he's able to pick up the rifle and run away. That's a win.
Sort of, but he popped Nightfall there. It didn't seem really like a spot to use it, but I guess maybe expecting they could hold on to the B site and maybe delay the players rotating from A, but that's a pretty decent ult that's just been thrown into the wind at the cost of a gun that they ultimately already had.
Yep, another strange one, but the value is there.
Mouse mat.
Xiao's picked the kill. Here comes Boo, though. Spike dropped. Paranoia smokes everything to work with. Malsey and Hype on their way. Now grouped with him inside a spawn, and well, Angel's in a lot of trouble here. this utility keeping him out from getting the long, and then there's players peeking to take him down. Sorry, that was Shao. Excuse me, Angel. Now in a lot of trouble because he's a 1v3 with a Sheriff.
Yeah, smoked off as well. They're just going to be sticking this one through. Not going to get anything for it. And, well, it's a couple of kills. Ultimately, it was an eco round, and there's still going to be a purchase coming in for FPX. OG, though, looking like they're stabilizing a little bit. Okay, there's a few odd things happening here and there, like no reaction coming out from Feku. I don't know if he just fell asleep at the wheel or something. Like, definitely happens, but not an ideal scenario. I guess it means he can now buy back into an operator. Maybe that was the plan all along.
There's just so many rounds to go, Tom. It feels like too big of a task on this defensive side. It's such a big map. You got to imagine at some point they blitz in, they take control. You see many flat attacking sides on Haven. I mean, this map, surely, if anything, you're looking at more of an even scoreline. Look at Malsey.
Look. I don't know. We've had a lot of aggression in this round. To push through mid, already doing so much damage. They used the paint shell to basically push Zipan all the way back. Okay, he's been healed back up, it's fine, but it still gives them this extra little bit of space. The thing is, though, it does seem like FPX are aware of this possibility. Like, the way the artist is playing around these angles, just jiggle peeking into the window, because he knows they don't currently have this control. And if Mosey gets nothing here, it's so much more of an issue, but he takes one. Now escaping, impossible.
Yeah, just no way out in that scenario. I mean, we saw it earlier on. We saw Angel attempt the same thing and meet the same fate. FPX setting their sights on Garage. They're going to send one towards long, and timing's going to be everything here. Hype made his way into the corner. That orb not taken. They're still clearing it, though. Hype is ready. Finger on the trigger. A quick kill. Spike can be planted, but they've got to deal with Hype down on long.
And he's just going to hold the position. Wait for his teammates to try and get back in. Is this another fake wall? He's put the wall down just to give him the extra space. Saigetsu, again! He just manages to do so much just off the wall. Just throwing it in behind him to try and bait them into thinking that spot was clear. He comes out with 2 kills. Okay, the third goes down, but now they know where Feku is. This man has had so much impact with those Sage walls throughout this map so far, and while Feku with a nice attempt, but it's a 12th for FPX off, again, just a little bit of smart individual play.
You just love seeing it so much, man. Saigetsu innovating some Sage plays. You don't get to see that, not even nearly on the level, on the consistency that you get to see it here out of this guy. And the worst part is, you know, he put that wall down, but they were still looking to clear him. Boo still wanted to. It was the timing. Just as Destrian took out his utility. I'm not sure if it was a rolling thunder or if it was going to be a flash. I think probably a flash for the wall. But either way, it never got to get popped. That swing was too quick. The kills were there. And now OG London United need to double up their score line just to hit an OT on their map pick.
Yeah, can't say I'm much of a believer, although I am currently watching Angel playing with the judge on the attack. So we'll see how this one goes. Flash through. And actually, he's got support. Zipan already going to be able to drop one, and they're just going to exit. They don't need to repeat. They don't need to refight. They know they've probably pulled a rotation already. The one thing that is a real danger, though, is going to be Feku with this tour de force. Even though he hasn't had the greatest of games, this is such a strong weapon. And as if he's done that with a judge.
It's everything about that, he's up there. So you can't TP back, or he's going to kill you. So now you're stuck in the open. He looks back to worry about maybe being peeked, and now as his teammates go to clear it, my man's got a judge up there taking them down. That's one of the nastiest plays out of Angel, because it just got so much. It was like a flash as well, because it stops him holding the cross. Like, wow.
It was such a bold TP as well, because it was deep. If there was anybody towards that spawn area, they've got the freest kill of their lives, but instead, it was almost just used to insta-kill Feku. Now we've got that rolling thunder, but Saigetsu puts Boo in the deck. It's left onto Destrian. He's giving it a damn good try, though, Mitch.
Oh, he really is. There's 2 players peeking him, though, Tom, and that firing squad is more than enough. Closing this one out, 13-6. FPX, they got the win that we expected of them, I guess, coming into today. They are the favorites for a reason, but with it being this dominant, Tom, it certainly doesn't set the stage very well for map number 2, because that's FPX's pick. And as we said, there's no data out there, which only seems to benefit the FPX side.
Yeah, no, it means the devs can have a whale of the time just theorizing what they're going to be expecting to come up going into this next one. I am definitely worried. And of course, for OG, it's not just their own lives on the line at the moment. This is a chance for FPX to completely seal out the top 3. It would mean that they're going to go through alongside Fnatic and Ascend, but maybe OG have something on the next map. We'll have to see after the break.
It was a pretty clean start from FPX as they continue their pursuit for a playoff spot. I'm Yingsu and I'm back here with Ryan and Kakuka. I think that was kind of expected, especially on the side of how we thought FPX were going to perform. Are you at all disappointed with what you saw from OG?
A little bit. I mean, I love to see Molsey performing on Xiao and the way that he was playing it. I think that the utility was definitely there, but it in some cases it looked like OG were just desperate to get in a round, and obviously it was because of what FPX was putting on the board, and it was literally a competition between Artis and Suigetsu to see which of the Sentinels is going to get some more kills.
Yeah, it's not often that you see like an agent change come in like the Sage and just perform to that level, right? Usually there's adjustments, like you sort of expect something like Hype on the Raze, where it was decent, it was okay, but FPX, everything seemed to work. They had a good understanding and a good idea, and we were sort of talking about it could be a rocky series considering OG could be a bit more of a bogey team, but FPX dealt with that tremendously.
One of the things that I really did not like is the fact that OG were dry picking so much onto Artis, and for an agent that has that the potential of just dodging that frag, that refrag, and just change his position completely, it just kind of fell off because he was mostly playing on the same spots, and it actually allowed Angel to just go on the flank, just playing a little bit more aggressive, and the walls that Suigetsu had on this map were just something else.
Just felt like the adaptation came a little bit too slow, right? It was a bit too late sometimes for OG. And I know Joint said in the pre-match interview he doesn't want his players to think about the potential outcome of this game, no pressure. But there is a huge amount of pressure, Ryan, on these players right now.
Yeah, it's just not only for playoffs, but trying to sneak into enough points to make LCQ as well, right? So like OG still have something to play for, something meaningful. And with the rate of this team progressing the way that they have been, it wouldn't surprise me if we see OG at LCQ and look so much better with the time. Like, this is a team that wants to stay together, is very compact with its approach, and has a lot of promise for the future.
Yeah, well, one of the players that's going to probably put an end to those streams today is Suigetsu, the way that he's been playing, and Kakuka, those TikTok Sage plays. Oh my god.
Listen, all the gaps that Suigetsu was bringing in on the map, the kind of confusion that he was creating onto OG all over the map. It's not like he had one or two cool walls. Okay, maybe the coolest one was there on Garage, but he's been performing not only today, but I would say that he's been the most consistent this stage. I think that, you know, Doombros messaged me yesterday to say happy birthday, and I was like, hey, how are you feeling about tomorrow? And he was like, oh, Suigetsu has been sick the entire week. We barely were able to practice. I honestly think he's just lying to me at this point.
Sick on Haven, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It was 3-0 on first kills, first deaths, which was much, much better than Hype, who's on that duelist role. So Suigetsu's able to do so much on an agent where I think only one team from Korea has played Sage on this map in this split. There might have been an APAC team in sort of the various like qualifiers that they've had, but nobody from NA, nobody from Korea has played Sage on Haven. They might start to now after seeing that.
I mean, I said that there were some TikTok plays. I know, Ryan, you're a huge TikTok star right now, so break some of that down for us.
So because we've seen a couple of the rounds already, I feel like it's one of these cases where we can sort of breeze through these instead of breaking them down. I did want to, however, start with this one, which was the real smart one that came in towards the end from Suigetsu. So you can sort of see on the mini-map, it's just a typical sort of C execute coming in here. Because of this kill, Hype just gets onto Xiao. They know that the Raze is somewhere around here, right? So this is almost like a gamble play that comes in from FPX, and it works perfectly. So the execute comes in onto the C site. Zipan's going to be really careful in the play behind him. But here we see Suigetsu actually sort of getting himself into this position and actually walling behind him. Now, this is just a common wall. We typically see this a lot, especially for teams executing through here to try and go for a C split, for example. It's common to wall that off to stop any defenders from trying to take that garage control. But I've never seen somebody wall themselves up in this position they even stun it, and I guess OG is sort of saying there's no way that there's somebody in this position. They're still taking it very carefully, and Soigetsu still finds that peak, finds really good timing to take that engagement. The other couple of ones that we've seen, because there was various ones, this was probably another interesting one. You sort of see the Sage over on the C site, actually walling off on C long, because they're expecting any sort of play with the executes coming out of the Rolling Thunder and the Fade. The problem is, they probably weren't expecting both of them to come in at the same time. So this is a good wall, and even though this execute is super powerful with the ultimates and utility that's thrown in, it still breaks this split up. There's still a world where something could happen there for FPX, and obviously we had the one initially, which I think was this one. No, it was this one, where the Sage wall comes in. There's a little bit of a gap that allows Zipan to sort of boost himself through, take a peek, and then sneak all the way back into Garage. So yeah, TikTok sort of lineups, I suppose, overall, but you just don't typically see that at the sort of pro level. And with so much focus on Chamber as a Sentinel, I think the Chamber plus a Killjoy plus a Cypher plus a Sage, that's growing in popularity.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see a lot of that on Bind as well. Kakuka, would you say that that's something they need to bring forward? Because again, we don't know what both of these teams are going to play.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of teams starting on the defense and actually pulling off this performances. So probably that was one of the reasons why we saw G2 actually taking split yesterday with the triple Sentinel. Now, Bind is going to be a different taste. And of course, as you said, we expect a lot of changes coming in from both the teams. And if FPX decided to go for this map, I think they're going to go crazy.
I want to know the Sage though. Do you think this is where we should see that Soigetsu Sage?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah. I like it. I think with the combo on the Fade, I think that it's the kind of Sentinel that you can bring in and still have the same impact.
You could basically have the same comp and still sort of make it work, right? Art is still on the Chamber, Zipan on the Raze.
Yeah.
I think that's what could make it work, is just you can carbon copy that composition over across various maps, especially the combos that you can put in. A lot of focus on like Fade and Raze. What if you had a Sage in there with the slow ups and the walls?
I mean, if it's going to be that Sage, think about the ratty things you can do on Bind of all maps as well. I kind of want to see it here. Again, as we said, both of these teams, we have very, very, very little data on their Bind. Oglu have never played it in VCT. We've never actually seen them here. So I'm also looking forward to see what they're going to bring up as we head into Agent Select. Of course, they played it outside of VCT, but that was so long ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
Sometimes we mention, hey, they haven't played since since Astra was nerfed and yada yada. We've been seeing team swaps, like team play swaps, and I don't know what to expect. I do not want to see the Astra. That's all I know.
Okay. Fade, love it.
I like.
Destrian back on the Fade is nice, though. Mozi was pretty decent, but like Destrian, it seems to be one of the Godfather. Ardis moving over to KO. So many teams moving away from that.
Mozi, yes. Let's go.
Eon versus Cypher as well.
Okay. But also, bringing in the Cypher bolt for Soigetsu. How long has it been since we've seen a Cypher here?
Hype has also never played Brimstone. This is his debut too. So this is just completely new across the board.
I mean,
they both decided to go solo Smoker Brimstone.
Yeah.
This is so...
More traditional, like, Sentinels as well. No Chamber on the side of FPX, actually. They're going for the Cypher. What was it, like, Pipson's Vodafone Giants that we saw, like, playing Cypher on this map last?
And no Sky, seeing how strong and pivotal she can be on B-Long. I think that both these teams have come into this map with a completely different idea of what they were going to do. So the clash on the server is going to be insane.
Which one do you like more?
Ooh, good question.
I think I like OG's more.
Yeah, I think Molzy on the Neon is able to do a lot. Destrin, like Booze Collins being decent, so an IGL on a Breach could really send them exclusively towards certain sites with a lot of aggression.
One of the things that I didn't like on this map, it was when Artist, so not on this map, but another ones when he was playing on the Sova and on the Initiator, and maybe he lacks a little bit of firepower on that one.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen with some funky agent choices there. Of course, the playoff spot is riding on this map for FPX. If they win, they will lock themselves in. Mitch and Tom, take it away.
Thank you so much, Insu. Yes, it's time to kick it off into map number 2, Tom. I gotta ask you right away, with this being FPX's map choice, are you even expecting to see a map 3?
I would be surprised. Like, I'm definitely excited to see how OG London United are going to work this comp. Like, Molzy being a little bit more aggressive, I also think is something that FPX are unlikely to have really played against yet. So it's going to be more of a learning curve for them. But ultimately, I just think that they're the better squad through and through. I think the players are better. I think the strategy is better. And I think the structure is better.
Well, that's certainly a whole lot of advantages for FPX coming into this map and into the rest of this series. We are, of course, going on to bind Fracture up after that if we end up needing it. But for now, things aren't looking all too likely. Starting on the attack, though, for FPX, let's see what they're able to bring to the table.
But the interesting thing is, I feel like OG's comp almost looks like they're already ready to go on Fracture. That's what they're very interesting. If they play this on Fracture, be like, that's not too different to what we normally see. But yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a focus on Molzy's Neon, especially him being back into more of a duelist role. Like, we know how solid his Sova can be, for example. For now, though, Saigetsu in what I would call more of a comfort pick for him as well, which, considering the last map, is a little bit terrifying.
Yeah, most definitely. What we saw from this guy was unbelievable on the Sage, and if that's him just getting started, well, let's see what he's bringing to the table this time around. FPX are making their way towards A, and these rotations are being heard. Feku up close will get nothing done, but at least finds the information. Assis goes down to pull them out into the open, leave them nice and low. No one's able to follow up on the back of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just the delay might actually be enough. I say that, though. They've gone rotating back once again. Still Hype left within the corner. Again, going to be on a slightly different role to what we've seen, but it doesn't stop him from connecting the initial shot. Peek over the top. It's a chance for Boo, but he doesn't get the kill either. Even though there's so many low players right now on the FPX side, they're going to go in with an advantage.
This flank from Feku, it all comes down to timing, and I think he's going to be spotted on his way through. It looks like the timing is perfect as Zipan eliminates him. The players try to blitz out a spawn. Good push, good kills. Molzy on a double, and both of the remaining players are critically low. This could still be their round over on OG London United side. The value of the pistol, it's huge. Already halfway defused, and they'll get the final kill to close it. OG London United picking that one up, and it certainly didn't look likely.
Yeah, no, a fantastic round from Molzy, especially at the end. I think it was his own stun that actually captures both players. Well, especially looking at the fact that there's only one assist and it's for Boo. Both players stunned up as he swings that corner. So the fact that he's able to set himself up with utility rather than what we've seen in the past, which would normally be for teammates, I think is going to be a huge plus for him, because I definitely think he has that star capability, but has also been very good with that supportive utility role. So won them the pistol, support from Destrian, of course, and as said, in the game that we saw last week, he was definitely one of the players to watch, especially when he was on this agent.
I'm always going to be very excited when a team like OG London United, in this scenario, they're the underdogs, and they come in and they pick something like this, like Molzy being on a Neon, that gives them that extra flair. It can maybe be different enough to what FPX has seen before. That was one hell of a shot. If this was an eco fair, you know, from OG London United, but that's mostly gone down.
That shot is
on their
nuts.
buy.
It's not even like he like jiggled way too wide out or something. Like, you see players make mistakes like that. Like, that was like a 0.1 second of his head being shown, and well, Angel lands the shot. He's made comments about people mentioning the fact that, you know, how's he still this good with age? But he keeps continuing to put up fantastic stats individually and hit some crazy shots like that. Hype now going to have the majority of the pressure, but with a judge and no real utility to force him out with, I think he has to get both players here, really.
Oh, he does. Oh, no, the timing!
Oh, no!
The judge comes back a little too late. Hype caught with his pants down, and Destrian's fallen too. This is a disaster. The judge will at least be dropped.
Spike planted.
They'll look to continue on forward, but low HP on a couple of players. Down goes Feku. It just, I can't believe they've gotten away with that, Tom. The timing inside of Hookah is just where this round falls apart.
We call it here. I know it's only 1-1, but I feel demoralized after that round. Like, I can't imagine how it feels for the players. And like, I know their coach been saying, oh yeah, no, we're trying not to think about the pressure, or we don't want to think about it at all, but You get off to that flying start. You've now basically just handed the economy game over to FPX on a platter. They come out with 3 weapons. The last player is going to buy up a rifle. And all just because of timing, I think they called for a smoke on long. And it's one of those things where I understand like having your controller up there, but there has to be a point where you go, no, I need to focus on my own individual play.
This is an approach, 1 by 1 through the TP, and they all fall down. All right, well, let's look past that round and worry about round number 4, the one that actually matters, because they've got a buy up. I don't know what that was. They did all just stagger through that really slowly, didn't they? 1, 2. Neon's the last one to die, keep in mind. So Mulsi Tooks here, because he's reloading, and then his team's dead by the time he's reloaded. But yeah, TP, TP, TP. That's not normally how you crunch bathrooms. It's not a crunch, it's like a slow fold. Gentle.
Well, yeah, they're doing origami.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Back in with the buy. Now, bear in mind, there's still a rifle, there's a showstopper. And again, we're going to have these utility setups early. Malzi's position has been noted. This close corner as well. But actually, it's going to be Malzi that goes down. Feku survives, but that close angle is not that great versus the SMG. Xiao even coming out with 2 here. Rifle retrieved, and the other remaining couple of players who even have to start questioning whether this is even worth going for.
Yeah, and that question, valid as it would be, it doesn't seem to be being asked. Not by Hype. He charges through that smoke and meets his demise. And Destrian, well, he's not going to do the same by the looks of things. He is considering the save a little bit more seriously. Or maybe at least trying to deal some more damage.
He's putting the little cam dart through. Oh, no. 3-1. The economy now already of FPX is going to take a few rounds to break, and that's a horrific way to sort of break into this game. Like if you were hoping, praying that OG were going to be able to turn this round, I know it sounds ridiculous because they've got a round, but this is basically the worst possible start you can get because you had the good start, you gave it away, so in terms of morale, you're in the bin, but that also gives your opponents the biggest financial boost they can possibly have at the beginning of a match.
Okay, here we go, Malzi. He's got the ult, and he's 45 HP for it. Pretty costly trade.
I would also say it's now not worth popping either.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You need to hit a good few. What is it, like? Is it 5 or 6 hits?
Yeah.
With the ult to actually get yourself a kill.
And Malzi's having trouble with the boom bot there, so I reckon those 5 or 6 hits might be
Find you.
a while
But
coming.
also, yeah, it'll take a bullet or 2 to take him out.
Oh, I like that. That's a cheeky reveal because no one's ever going to see it coming up and above this guy above the roof like that. Here's the ult. It is going to be popped either way. And it's predictably got nothing.
Yeah, it normally, like, you kind of expect that ult to get nothing anyway. It's the overdrive is pretty weak. But yeah, when you're on 45 HP, you can't expect much more. Nice shots coming out from Boo. A couple of crispy taps. Might do at least a little bit. Okay, this just got interesting. I was going to mention potential economic damage. Now there's a chance to win the round, but Xiao, he's not feeling it.
There.
That's it, right? We have the A plan being tested here for FPX, and not only do they have, I'm sure, a deep list of alternative strategies and approaches, you've also then just got the fact that they can lean back onto individuals and they can win rounds like that. They can have Xiao pop off. You can have Zipan as well as up there.
We haven't even got to
the
like. We haven't even got to the Angel solo Brimstone push yet, and that's only on like page 3.
Yeah,
like there's still plenty of strats to go. No, a terrifying squad, and this will always be the thing with this team. It's like you've got the likes of Ardis currently on this map on a more sort of supportive role. You've got Zipan, who's a superstar, but then you look back at like your quote unquote support players. You got Saigetsu, who basically top fragged the last map. Xiao, who has consistently been one of the best players in EMEA. Even when the team wasn't that good, he was still dropping crazy numbers on like Omen and random agents that he'd never played before. And then you've got Angel, who, well, he's got 2 kills right now. One of them was a pixel headshot on a player jumping to peak. Like, there is so much depth depth within FPX. This is why I think most of us are very desperate for them to actually get to play an international event, because I want to see how it goes, because although like we know this team are fantastic, Mitch, we know that Angel has experience, the rest of the team really don't have much LAN experience at all. Like, you're talking about a young squad with a lot to prove, and they could be incredible, or it might not work.
I will say,
what you'll want to know.
Artis has played UK LANs, so as much as Angel has international LAN
no one's
experience,
gonna shout at you as much as that.
Artis has been in a brawl for his life after a match. You know what I mean? Like, I think that this is the rest of the team. Certainly, the narrative holds strong there. Good old Malsey speeding his way through. 2 players to back him up. FPX want none of it. They're just going to back off on this, concede the space. I love also the fact that, you know, you see FPX come into a meta where it's like, yeah, Jet's not really going to be your entry anymore. And they're like, oh, damn, okay. Well, Angel, you pick up the brim. We've solved it. Good old days.
Already. Nightfall. It's going to make things a little bit more awkward for Feku. Seemingly might want to get out of there. The flash alongside Zipan just flying through the air. They're so completely blind. Those small pieces of utility have worked absolute wonders. Okay, Artis is now on the deck, but they're actually going to res him back up. So I guess he's found another, even just on the lurk player. Babu, he may have his ult, but this one's done. That was so crispy clean. Like, that's one of those rounds I feel like you can watch back like 5, 6, 7 times, and each time you pick up a new little piece that FPX just did.
Yeah, this team also was content to play retake with a Rolling Thunder. Hey, look at the positions that they're in. You've got a TP up close that's going to follow up to get you into spawn. You've got a player who's playing in the cubby. That cubby position was purely to cover long. After you already had...
Headshot.
Nice shot. Nice shot. Okay. Gonna do some damage here. Go off, boo. But yeah, after you already had Feku, like, he's hit by that ult, he's not able to hear anything. His teammate swings out to cover the angle from the cubby. That's when that exec comes in. That's when Zipan just goes fucking crazy on site.
The flash, I assume that was the flash from Artis as well, was spot on.
Yep.
Like, the fact is, Zipan went past, was taking another duel on the site. Artis walked out and he was still blind.
Yep.
He was just still blind in that corner, so
absolutely perfect.
I guess hoping he went unchecked, but yeah, that execute was beautiful. And the thing is, OG in that round, you see the aggression go in onto Showers. That whole play was to get Destrian that ult to have Nightfall, so they would again have that double like Rolling Thunder Nightfall combo. By the time either of them got anywhere near the site, everyone was dead.
That's to say that they had won the round if they don't lose those players on site. If that play, if that exec doesn't go as well for FPX, they're set up in hookah, in spawn, Rolling Thunder hits. That's as FPX are like trying to plant and as they're trying to get out into the site. So they lose that round. You just all get hit by the Rolling Thunder and smoked off and left on long. Easy pose. But instead, it was Zipan finding the opening. The success rolled on from there. We'll see if this round goes the same. Feck you already dealt with, and both Malsey and Destrian fall to, I think, the same bullet.
Yeah, he got 2. That's unlucky. That's very, very unlucky. I guess Malsey technically got 1 in the last map, so maybe a little bit of karma. I think that was a headshot as well from Booth. This is just getting more and more unfortunate by the second. Again, the Prowler being utilized incredibly well. And Hype, well, it's not like he's going to use his ult here. Artis even waiting within the smoke, and we'll get the final frag. Again, not much invested into that run from OG, but they did use a tour de force, and it got absolutely nothing.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit spooky. Angel's 5-1 right now. Got an orbital strike online. Rest of the team doing pretty damn well. Zipan as your point man, first guy in a lot of the time. 9-4. Cast off the charts this game, Tom. I mean, FPX are just they're ruling this server. The kills, the assists, they're surviving. They're being traded. I mean, that's all you want.
Malsey again, opting to try and take the round into his own hands. They're looking to try and surround him, but this has almost ended up as a complete false positive for them. Looking like they cleared almost every single angle, and now Saigetsu's going to walk into a position that they're going to assume is clear. In fact, they've rotated everyone off. He's just got the freest kill of his life. That is such a mishap for OG. Like, they did everything right other than just clearing the angle.
This is interesting, though. FPX are trying to contain them, and it looks like OG are going to push out on long. get caught immediately by Artis. Still here to duel some more. Got a flash to get himself out of there, but he'll be caught. Good damage. And FPX still aren't looking to move elsewhere. They were sticking in Hook. It looked like they were almost moving towards the B site, but eventually, well, I believe to be the right call is made. They're going back to A and they'll plant that spike.
It is really interesting. They've got so much retake potential on this OG side, and it seems like they're consistently committing. That C's is wonderful. Angel, there's nothing he can do. He's been caught by the C's, and then the orbital strike comes straight on top of him. Perfect combo of utility, and now, well, a 3v3.
Well, Nightfall's not quite going to catch them.
They dodged both. That was 2 ults.
This is a disaster. I mean, I haven't committed so much. They've got to keep on going for it. Stun goes down. Flash is good. Here's the swing, and it follows through for more. Boo! 30 HP. They just need to provide the cover. Xiao will be dealt with as well. They've done it. Gotten back into the site. The ults did not go according to plan, but they made up for it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't expect them to utilize them in that round just because it was a 4 versus 3. It's given them one nonetheless, but I don't think that was anything to do with the ults. In fact, it was more just the other utility. This combination was very nice, like utilizing that C's. I think this is more of what we're going to see, like catching out the planter in a lot of cases. But this could have gone badly wrong. I think Boo has been one of the main players that we've actually seen sort of performing to a decent standard so far, and hey, Hype at least coming up big in 1 round, but again, it's the least recreatable round ever.
The fact is though, getting that frag so important, because if they don't, Angel has post-plant utility and ult to work with. This mid crunch goes well for OG at the start, but only a second or 2 later, FPX are walking out of that with an advantage. They've got a showstopper to work with here, and all the time in the world. Map control with those trap wires looking behind them. And well, I guess the ball's in OG's court to make a move. They can either sit back and just hope that they've got the right numbers in the right spot. They can try to grab some info and some aggression.
This is the thing. You've got an orbital strike to clear backside or even clear off elbow if you really wanted to. You got a showstopper to make space as well. I don't even know if they're going to need any of that, because at the moment they're just isolating every position with utility. There is no place right now that can be pushed. There was a molly in towards the spawn. They then had the fragment to section off elbow. And again, it's just a beautiful execute, even if there's nobody here. And now you have this for just delaying the time. Oh, it might even be a free kill.
There.
This is going to be tough. I mean, that orbital strike just puts a huge timer on the round. They've got to make a move, and they do. But trading out the numbers just not good enough. Boo. 1v2. And well, yeah, that's exactly how it should have went.
It's so good. Oh, his flashes have just been on point. They've been so enjoyable to watch. And the funny thing is, it's something that if you look at his statistics, it's not really going to show up because it's his own flashes. Like, he's flashing and then he's also getting the kill. So the stat will just show up as his kills. 7-2. Again, the problem is OG are attempting to play a hyper-aggressive comp on the defensive side versus a team with, I would say, the best defaults in EMEA. I don't think it's the boldest claim in the world. Like, I think they're so good at just holding onto ground and incredible lurk in terms of substitute. It doesn't get much worse, does it?
No, it really doesn't. As far as poor starts go, I think we're really looking at the epitome. But here, Malcy's been dropped as well. It's one of those rounds, I guess. You come in, you just know pretty much straight away. It should be boring. Shouldn't be too many kills, too many frags in favor of the defensive side. But Tom, I mean, they really have gotten nothing here. This is the kind of round where sometimes we see a team being able to get really lucky and force out an orbital strike or something like that. But they've not even managed, what, like 50 damage? A little above that? Yikes.
8-2. On that attacking side as well, this has looked impeccable from FPX. Not a player with a foot out of line. They've even got a few ults online as well that they can try and utilize going into this next round. Like, this is a team that basically looked to come and do business today, and well, that's what they've done. Like, I don't think they've broken a sweat, but I also don't think they've come in underprepared. And I also just look at the way that they're playing this attack side of Bind, and I don't know if there's a team out there that would necessarily want to challenge them on this, because these executes have honestly been some of the best I think we've seen.
Yeah, to go back to that execute we saw on B, it was just so clean. That one, you know, maybe not so much. Flash could have been a bit better. Oh my, okay. Oh, that's not how you want that one to go. Malsi's pulled it back. Sugetsu's all alone, a 1v2. And Tom, for the first time in a while, we've got a situation on our hands. Looks like
Where is everyone hiding?
oh, this is huge. Absolutely huge, the info. Oh, he's caught falling.
Cage triggered.
Stun out. It's actually not going to reach him. A chance to reaggress. Rotation already coming back through. Definitely wary of the spawn. He's actually just going to sit in the open. If it was Hookah, he'd basically be screwed already, but he has that trip down to actually stop them going through that closer angle. On the flank, peek out from Feku. Can't really afford to take this instead. He goes straight in for the peek, down to the 1 versus 1, but thankfully, Molesy is going to be there to give them a second round onto the board. Too close for comfort, and I really think it swings back to something that Kakuka said on the desk. OG love a dry peek. And well, they almost lost that round solely off that alone, just swinging into Zipan. He's just waiting for them. Again, they're playing into an incredibly solid default, and if it wasn't for Molesy, that round would have been done.
Yeah, it's a very worrying factor at this point. You know, you're relying on those individuals stepping up. In fact, you're relying on that individual stepping it up for 2 of the 3 rounds that Oglu have so far. That's not great. You know, Malsy's a great player, don't get me wrong, but if you need him to get 3 kills for you to win a round, well, he's going to try it again. Oh, but he's cancelled out. No longer got the finger guns.
They used an orbital strike. Really didn't want them to push. Just decided to, oh, all right, fine. You have to try and run in towards the orbital strike with no utility. It at least puts a little bit of a stabilizer on the round, but it's still a disadvantage. Again, caught with utility out, though. And Angels come up with 2. Again, it was looking like a good scenario for OG, but in a matter of seconds, it's straight back to an advantage for their opponents.
And to retake this with an operator, Tom, I mean, finding the angles. Yeah, yeah. Really, the best of both worlds, I guess, ranged and close range, but yeah, you could also say the worst, I suppose, for this scenario. I don't know how they'll find space here. I mean, Hype has to rely on timing as he comes out. He's got the right angle, he's got the right spray, there's a kill. But time, 3 HP, operator as well on this teammate. I don't think they physically have time for this.
Oh. Okay. I guess you're just going to peek into a Molotov and just take out both. It didn't even look like he broke a sweat. 9-3. Another impeccable half. Bear in mind, okay, you had 2 rounds in isolation that were won. The other was the pistol. Other than that, FPX, as said, they haven't really broken a sweat. Excellent execution. Saigetsu, I'm going to be honest, unless OG managed to turn this round, I feel like the player of the match should be locked in. I don't understand how anybody else could even be in the thought process of winning it at this point when you're currently having a top fragged map where you're playing a Sage, and then the next one you're doing exactly the same thing on the Lurk on Cypher. It should be donezo.
Wow. A big task for OG London United, and we mentioned that their last game, their next one up, is going to be up against Focus. And as I said, that will most likely determine which one of those teams is moving forward. And I think, Tom, the scary thing is that Focus still to play their game this week. But you know, that's tomorrow up against Fnatic. Reality is they're not likely to win that. No team is up against Fnatic. I like that haunt. That's good. The reveal. Zipan's being spotted. No one's taking him down, though.
How? He's hiding in a smoke while he's completely revealed. And he still manages to get 3 kills. End it. And this is a courtesy call. End it.
And I know there's a forfeit function on the server, all right.
Yeah, thanks for that one, Guild X.
I know for a fact that you can forfeit in this game. Even on a custom server. Or on a custom client.
It's worth reiterating as well. FPX win this, we have our top 3 from this group. It'll be them, it'll be Ascend, and it'll be Fnatic. The other 3 teams, no hope.
Oh.
I think that's what you call ambitious.
Yeah, ambition is a dangerous thing, you know, and unfortunately, it has gotten the better of Malty.
They say there's a fine line between genius and insanity. I think he went over the line.
Oh, he has truly gone over that line. This cage, or trap, excuse me, revealed some. Nobody was able to follow up on it due to the utility. That wasn't a problem.
Okay.
Because then Artis just walked on out, took them all down, spray and pray.
Yeah. You know what? He's almost got his no command, for anybody wondering. It won away, in fact. 13-4 for Artis. I guess he is the only other person I would say that could be in the running for player of the match. Personally, I think it already has to go to Saigetsu just because he's had a worldie on that stage as well. But you never know. Maybe if Artis a couple more aces to close it out, I might be swayed.
That's why you feel so good. Might be swayed. You get it, Tom? I recently bought a couch, so swayed is
you've made a couch-based joke.
I have.
Okay.
I have, and I've enjoyed it.
I hope you're proud of that.
I've enjoyed myself.
A bit of damage already done. Zipan hacked a little bit low. Destrian is in the same boat, however, and Angel's looking ready and set, ready to put down a molly. And they haven't been able to claim any of the early orbs just yet, at least for Artis. It's just firing stuff through the TP. I feel like there's points where he's just almost toying with his opponents. I feel like Saigetsu's a little bit sadistic in the way he plays. Like, what would really mess with them? Let's just make sounds.
Oh, nice flash. The fact that they have the util to exec right off the back of that being destroyed is one of the nastiest and prettiest things I've ever seen.
30 seconds left.
The value that they have just gotten on a low buy round from a cam, Tom.
Oh, it's giving him the space as well. The nade just buys the extra time. Oh, it's perfect. The way that FPX are playing is just fantastic. Now, I will say, I want to see what happens when they play against a better team. I don't want to be the one to just kick OG while they're down, but like, it is very easy for everything to work when the other player's already on the floor. And that's what it feels like right now. They have been obliterated from start to finish. There is no chance of an upset here. 9 rounds in a row needed for OG to not only stop FPX from winning, but to stop this group being done.
Well, this is looking like it is done and dusted indeed, Tom.
Go, go, go.
Quite a big comeback needed from a team that, well, thus far, I think they've managed 9 rounds across the 2 maps, and now they need 9 in a row. Well, Artis at least able to catch Boo right away to really put a dampener on that for OG London United. They'll slow this down a little bit more. That Tour de Force needs to find some contact. It needs to find some duels. Otherwise, you know, I'm not sure they can necessarily rely on anything else getting it done. It's got to be the difference maker.
Already, Saigetsu looking to put this one to bed. Tour de Force almost seems like it's left the server already. It's disappeared from his hands, at least. More down to just 5 HP. It's almost like they're rotating just for the sake of it. Artis in such an aggressive position, they're not expecting it.
Spike down.
This is already done. call it a day. Feku will at least
30 seconds
grab himself a kill and retrieve that spike.
Player standing.
Something needed from Destrian and a 5 HP ace needed from Feku just to give them a chance to fight back for another 8 rounds. And while he's doing some damage, but Angel will be there. 13-3, FPX looking fierce. And unfortunately for OG, that will be the end to any playoff hopes.
Yeah, this has been a tough season for them for sure, but it's also been a tough season for FPX, Tom. We've seen them stumble every now and then, but this time around, we're seeing nothing but clean gameplay. I mean, it is at least a huge positive to see this roster be able to take such a commanding victory over a team in their group. It shows us that, you know, they are slowly getting back to form. They are looking better, but I do think, like you said, this wasn't necessarily the biggest of tests, and I'm not sure whether I'll say their bind is as strong as it appears to be, at least for a little while.
Okay, so we've got our player of the match. I think we've already highlighted at least 2 of them. I believe the third is going to be Zipan. I think he had a very good game, like second map. I don't think there was a weak player within the entirety of FPX today, but the winner is Saigetsu. So whether you vote for him or not, the winner is Saigetsu. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So yeah, if you want to make Tom angry, go ahead and vote for absolutely anyone else.
If you want to be wrong, then
at
vote
Valley
for somebody
Sports
else.
_EMEA, head on over to Twitter there, and you'll be able to get your vote in the next couple of minutes. But be quick, because the winner will be announced during the analyst desk, which is in a couple of minutes. But before that, Tom, we are going to toss things off to a break. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here in just a couple minutes.
What a win for FPX. They locked themselves into playoffs with style. Clean 2-0 all round. Guys, I think this is the FPX that we want to send to an international tournament.
Yeah, completely. I mean, they still have to make it out of players, but I think I can speak for at least both of us. We've been seeing kind of a rough level in EMEA, teams that do not look convincing, but FPX is on another level. Like what we have witnessed here on Bind, Tom was saying, and everything was feeling perfect.
They're adding like dominant maps to their pool as well, like it's an infinity gauntlet. Like they're getting everything together. And I think that was like the big complaint from week 1 up against Fnatic is just they went into a series where the map pool heavily favored Fnatic because there was nothing else that they could rely on. Now they've got a bit more choice, and they're leading the way in certain like compositions and metas and ideas that is actually working. Not many teams are innovating right now, but FPX is going way off bat when it comes to some of the ideas they're having.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, FPX, they're locked in. They're going to be going to playoffs, but it's not just FPX that's locked in. Group A has been completed. This is the outcome, and I think this is probably the one that people expected as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of sad to, you know, add in Focus and OG to that list of teams locked out. But, you know, Fnatic is still very, very close to locking out that first seed. Even though that we see them on top here, they still have to secure one more win in the 2 weeks that we have left. So either tomorrow or next week, it doesn't matter. They will, if they win one of them, they will get first seed.
I think it's like if they beat Focus tomorrow, it's confirmed because even if they lose their last week 5 game, they're head-to-head against Ascendant FPX, they'd win out, right? So
yeah, but if they lose this week, they got to win next week.
Yeah. So it's basically like Fnatic can get the top spot, and then next week, it's FPX Ascend fighting for second and third, which is such an important game. And I think at this point, teams want to show enough that they can do as good as possible, but not show enough when it comes to saving their map pool for playoffs and ideas there.
I mean, you want that second seed. You want to dodge Fnatic as much as you can, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we go by what happened in Season 1, the second seed of this group was on the opposite end of the bracket to the seed 1 of their group. So if it is going to be Fnatic, I think you're right, Kakuta.
Yes.
Probably want to dodge them. But before that, like I said, this is the FPX that did qualify for an international tournament, and everything they showed on Bind, I feel like, is what makes them so scary to play against.
Yeah, exactly. I think that especially starting off on the attack and knowing that they're going up against a Neon, I did not see the impact that Neon had because, you know, they were trying to use the stuns, to use the that rapid fire to actually, you know, get some impact, but FPX was just holding on a default. Every single round on the attack, they were like, yeah, come on to me, I will take all the control that I want. The shots that we saw, especially after OG was not able to convert that second round after winning pistol, I mean, everything from that was downfall.
3 rounds for OG, one of which was the pistol, and they lost the 50 straight afterwards. Then it was few and far between from that point. On the flip side as well, for like FPX, bringing out a KO, which I think they're the only team, again, to do that so far, and to bring a Cypher out on Bind. Nobody in EMEA, NA, Korea has done that, but it's still nice to see that it actually works. Like seeing a CIS Cypher just lurk up and find so much space like Soigetsu was doing, a lot of teams are going to be feeling happy that that's now something that's very meta. Even with Chamber being as oppressive, you still have that option, and Soigetsu literally ran with it because he was in the enemy spawn a lot of the time.
I love the fact that you are not condemned to use one single lineup here, one single composition. We were talking before this map started about, there's no Viper on either of the sides. Like, how is this going to work, knowing that she's been such an important agent here? But Suigetsu, and maybe we could think that it was Angel going to be on the log, but no, he was pretty frontal. He was just going for it.
It's going to be interesting to see how they will fare up against Ascend next week. I think the place where both of these teams are right now, and just be able to see the weaknesses and strengths of both these teams as they go into playoffs. I know it doesn't really mean too much besides seeding, but I think it will be a really nice judgment of where these two teams actually are.
If FPX can keep up that consistency of just cooking the other team when it comes to map pool, then that's something that's going to be great for playoffs, because Ascend's map pool looked wonky, especially their map pick of Split. They're getting battered by G2. That is something that FPX is going to exploit as much as physically possible.
Yeah, it looks like Ascend is going to have to bring something new, because what FPX decided to do for this one, knowing that OG is going to prepare a lot for them, is like, let's play a map that we haven't played before. Neither you or me. Let's see who wins in this one.
Yeah, and I mean, after the Ascend bind comp being gone as well, I want to see what happens, because if they can do that against Ascend, yeah.
I think, was it Champions, where it's like Breeze is such an important map at that point because so many teams were like starting to introduce it. Like Bind, I think, is the most important map in the game right now.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that the people of Twitter decided to give Tombiz some joy today. He needs it, you guys, and vote Soigetsu as the player of the match. Honestly, for me, he was the player of the day.
Yeah, completely. I'm gonna say the player of the week no matter what, even though we haven't. Even if we haven't seen Sunday yet, even though Fnatic still has to play and Alpha's gonna be back in the server Dirk as well. I still think that what he did today was perfect, legit perfect. Like, there was nothing that I would change.
With so many people talking about like EMEA struggling at the moment, you could just send them that VOD, because it's like new stuff, innovation, people on the agents that they want to be. And yeah, like even like the first week, like FPX looking so awkward against Fnatic, like I want to see that rematch. Hopefully at a point where both teams have qualified, because I'd love to see Fnatic and FPX go into an international event again. But like that is matching up to be a great grand final, perhaps.
I want to know who's been saying that EMEA are struggling, by the way, because you've been saying this all day. Who are these people?
We are.
Give me some names.
Reddit.
Right, anyway.
Some of the teams, some of the teams, not all of them.
I cannot talk bad about NA because somebody clips it, and then apparently all we do is crap talk NA. So I'm just like...
I mean, we will have a chance. We will have a chance and have a little bit of fun. That is what we do, obviously, in the post-show of today's show, and inviting Doombros to join us as well. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I think
it's red for FPX. It's red for FPX.
We get boasted.
Hey, Doom, welcome. Congratulations today. First, I want to ask you, did you see Ryan's twerk on the pre-show earlier today?
Unfortunately, I have to focus fully on the team, but I heard there were some things going on, so I need to check the board and maybe save a video.
Next VOD review, whole team needs to watch it.
Yeah. I want to get your views on that a bit later, but first of all, another season, another playoffs locked in. The consistency is there for you guys now. So how relieved are you, I guess, to be able to reach this point once again after everything that happened last season?
I mean, for me, it's a huge relief. I think I've always thought we were this consistent and this good. And I think last season we had some struggles. We still have some struggles with things going on in the world. But I'm just really happy that we managed to stay at a good level, right? With all these patch changes and all these meta changes, but still, doing our thing, not letting outside factors or opinions affect us, right? We're doing it our way and we're reading the meta our way, and I'm just happy that I bet we win. Right?
Real quick, I want to ask you, what opinions? What are these opinions have you heard?
I mean, the typical FPX thing about us playing weird comps or playing with no duelist and stuff like this, but you have to remember we were playing no duelist 1.5 years ago, right? So
big up.
So don't read Reddit. Yeah, don't read Reddit. There's no point.
Nothing of this is new to us. So like the way this game is now and the way the meta is now is very comfortable for us. And I think you see it with us and Fnatic too, right?
Yeah.
Like we're two teams that's comfortable in this environment. So
Yeah, so the way that you have been preparing for all the matches that you've had has been outstanding. So I want to hear your thoughts on how you prepare to go against OG, especially since they were the ones that won against you on that first stage. You decided to go for 2 maps that we hadn't seen from both of you. Was that intentional? Give me some insight.
So, I mean, we play all 7 maps. So, yeah, we decided to play bind, I guess, when we did Vivito. It doesn't really matter what map we play, I think. I always prepare all 7 maps of the opponent, and we can play every map. So, we were kind of going on what we want to play and what we think is good. And today it was bind, so that's it.
I think it was the look on Bind as well, right? Like seeing Cypher on that map for the first time in, it feels like 10 years
Forever,
at this
yeah.
point. I know Sogetsu was like poorly this week, so how much of like the Cypher pick was you seen an opportunity? Because so many people like, oh, you need a Chamber, you need a Viper, you can't play anything else. How much of it was Sogetsu comfort picking an agent that he's been well known on versus there's potential for Cypher as an agent, not only on Bind, but across a lot of different maps?
I mean, definitely that Cypher is a good agent. I think Sugetsu is more comfortable on Sky than he's on Cypher on that map. Like Cypher is pretty unusual, and it was a long time ago since people played that agent on that map. But I think it makes a lot of sense, especially with how the meta is looking, and obviously today with the composition Oglu ran, it's perfect,
And
right?
Neon, yeah, just trap
Yeah,
him up.
yeah. You just spot every aggression they want to do, and they don't have really strong side holds. So if you just survive and do something together, you win. So
I'm really hoping that you'll be able to see us because I have a clip prepared and I wanted to show you production, if we can bring it up, of some utilities that were used, a bit of a rut that Angel was stuck in. We're going to get it prepared, but first, real quick, the TikTok wars from Sugetsu, did he mean those? You know, the gaps that were left, like the ridiculous angles he was holding? That was intentional? How often, how much time does he spend watching TikTok?
trust me, we call it TikTok walls as well. Like in every stream, Sugetsu's like, guys, I'm gonna do a TikTok wall, and Angel is screaming, no, use it properly. And like, no, I'm doing a TikTok wall. And then now afterwards, it's like, you see, Angel, the TikTok wall worked. You know, it's. But honestly, we do a lot of prep, we do a lot of strats, right? So we know what walls he will do, and we know, kind of how to react on it. But Sugetsu is such a good player by himself that he can kind of feel it out. But yeah, we call it TikTok walls too, and I think I've scolded him a lot about it in screams. But it is what it is.
For
You know,
TikTok walls coming in.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Angel screaming, we have the clip now. I want to show you real quick. I just want to ask you what you make of what's happening here. Talk us through.
Oh yeah, so this round, basically, it's so stupid because he was planting, and then for some reason he got off and planted again, and as soon as he planted the second time, he was like, oh crap, yeah, I know exactly what's gonna happen, you know, when it like processes a bit later, because like obviously this comp we're running, it's super common right now in EMEA, so we can expect him to do the chain and the ult combo. So I was literally sitting at the monitor screaming like, Angel, come on! And it was an honest mistake. I think he realized it as soon as he went off the plant. He was like, yeah, I'm dead.
Well, it wasn't many rounds that OG actually got against you, but that was one of them. I want to ask you, looking towards next week, you're going to be playing off against Ascent, but you actually did them a favor today, locking them in also for playoffs. How do you think that encounter is going to go?
I mean, I'm friends with our analyst or our assistant coach Milan, right? So I kind of, didn't want them to qualify just to be the best friend I can be. But, a little love. But no, honestly, I think I said in the interview, I'd love to play them. They have such a different style from the other teams in our groups, I think. So I think it will be like a really fun matchup. I really like Monster, right? And I just love playing different teams, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not one to make predictions or anything like that. We just do our best.
Don't think anybody wants to predict the comps either with you two teams as well. That's the other thing. Like, where do you rate this meta right now? Because it feels so diverse. Sova's not a must pick anymore. Jet isn't a must pick. Like, obviously you guys can play anything, but like from you playing from scrims, is this the most like diverse agent meta that we've had so far in Valorant?
I also want to piggyback off that real quick and say, how int is it for teams not to play Chamber Raise Fade?
Yeah, so if we go by Ryan's point first, I think yes, in a point that two agents in Jet and Sova got nerfed and it opened up the meta a lot. And Jinse, your point, you're absolutely correct. You know, that's why I think Fnatic they're so amazing, because they have a guy who plays Raze and then on some maps plays Killjoy, and then they have Dirk on Chamber, and a really good Fade player is like the perfect pickups for this meta. So I think obviously the meta is diverse, but I'm not sure if it's because the game is in a healthy state or because people are like learning about the new meta and it's gonna be that Fade Race Chamber for half a year, you know.
Yeah.
But for me and my experience in scrims, like we always face different comps every time. I don't think we ever had a mirror comp. I remember last week on
very
Factor.
hard.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
no one's
playing what you're playing.
Okay.
Who's gonna mirror you?
Why are you surprised about that?
Yeah, maybe that's come to us. But I mean, you know, on Fracture last week we had 10 different agents in one map. You know, and I think that's really fun to both watch and to play. So maybe we're, you know, from our perspective, it looks like a diverse meta, but for everyone else, it looks the same. You know, I can't really tell. But
Ryan's just salty because he wants the Astra meta back. He's been having a hard time in ranked.
Yeah, that's Zest. I left the Astra Appreciation like club. I was.
You literally said to me in the group, you're like, I can't play controllers in ranked anymore.
Yeah, I was
can't
really good
do
on
it.
Astra, but now playing Omen, I moved over to KO. Speaking of, like, KO on Bind as well was like super. Like a lot of teams moved away from it hard. So seeing artists being able to play that to a level was, again, sort of opens up a lot of ideas, right? And that's the thing that makes you guys so good, is that you can play near enough any kind of comp that it makes it very difficult for any team to prepare for you, because you could just bring out the, well, Angel Euro again, I suppose.
yeah, like I mean, I don't want to mention too much, but
course, yeah.
about the KO, right? It fits artists pretty well. You know, he's a bit aggressive. And we want to give him the tools to be a bit self-sufficient. So KO is kind of a good agent for that. You can just pop flash for yourself everywhere, right? And be aggressive if you want. So it works very well. Plus, KO on Bind is really good, right? So yeah, it just works out.
Yeah, everything's working out for you guys right now. If we take a look at the standings after everything that happened today, of course, a lot of teams have been locked in already. I do want to ask you, as Fnatic are playing tomorrow, Doom, because MBS said that there's a bit of a gap right now in your group in the way that Fnatic are kind of above everyone, and then the next couple of good teams are squished together, and then there's a bit of a gap again, and then the bottom teams. Would you agree with that? Do you feel like there is a bit of a gap between at least your team and Fnatic?
I mean, yes and no. I think Fnatic with Alpha Year, they look, let's say they look amazing. You know, having to play him both in scrims and officials, you know, I can tell you that everyone is looking for Alpha Year sense and resolution and hairstyle and whatever, you know, it's... But honestly, like strat-wise and comp-wise, I don't think there's a big difference. You know, I think the match against Fnatic could have gone either way. I think it was like 1-1, and then the icebox was down to some close rounds, and Alpha Year kind of pushing through a smoke and getting 3 kills, right? And obviously that's, you know, when you have a player that can do that, you get the edge, right? So, but I don't think there's a large difference between us. But obviously they have a firepower with Dirk and Alpha Year, but we also have good firepower. About the rest of the teams, I think our group is the group of death, really.
Yeah.
I think everyone is so good. And I think Focus and Oglu is also good teams. You know, when I prepped for them, when I scouted for them, like they were harder to scout and harder to prepare for than some of our teams, right? So I think these teams have really good coaches. I think it's just sometimes we struggle with maybe the quality of the players or the individual decision making or stuff like this, you know. But like in terms of ideas and structure, I think they're really good, especially Focus. So I don't think the gap is that far. I think we're gonna get better with time.
Yeah, well, Fnatic, they're going to be playing, and so are Focus tomorrow. If we take a look at the schedule as well, we also have a couple of pretty nice, one very nice game over at Group B. And Kakuka, I know you're going to be on big watch here. Every single game we see, you're going to be like, is this going to be able to send big to playoffs? And this one is going to matter.
Yeah, exactly, because Guild needs to take that win. They're looking like, but we've witnessed that they might take it, and that is going to, you know, push Big a little bit further. I don't know, Eric, if you saw what happened between Mech and Big, because probably you were warming up. Were you watching? What are your thoughts on that?
I saw a bit of it. I was really surprised, but I think Big has relaxed a bit, and I don't know, are they eliminated or not?
No, they can still make it. They can still make it.
What against Mech?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought we were like, yeah, we can just relax, have fun, let Twist and pop some heads and do the usual.
Do you want to see them make it? They can, but they would have to make it in the expense of Mech.
Yeah, here are the permutations on like the chances of locking in.
Oh.
So it's it's pretty much either them or Mech, really, if they were to make it. If Mech makes it, then obviously they're gone.
Yeah, exactly. They need Liquid and Guild to win all their games and then win next week against BBL. That's what Big needs to make it to playoffs.
That's very doable, I think.
I'm telling you.
The copium is rising.
Yeah, I mean, I think Big has improved so much since they started. Like, obviously they lost their IGL, so it takes some time for a roster like that to kind of get their groove. But they have some amazing aimers. Like, I was watching their games and I was legit scared. You know, like these guys can just out aim you. And yeah, I just think they are underrated for sure, and they could definitely make it.
How much time have you three been spending with Vincent, by the way?
I know, right? It's infectious. There is a team that I did want to ask you about is Guild, right? Because like Guild top in the group, I think a lot of people are sort of assuming that what happened last in stage 1 would happen again, right? Where they just kind of like start really strongly and then sort of fall out of playoffs. I don't know if you scrim them because they're in a different group, so you don't need to face them up until potentially playoffs. But does this Guild really, do you think they're sort of Copenhagen potential there from what you've seen and experienced?
So I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I think Guild actually blacklisted us from scrims. I'm not sure, but I think because we
Barbara's listening here.
They thought we were playing some troll comps back in the day. You know, that's just how we roll. So, but obviously maybe it's not true. And sorry, Barbara, that's true.
No. Listen, I think that after today they're gonna put you back on the green list again because they were like, oh my god, they were not troll comps. They actually play this comps unofficial.
If we don't get Guild FPX in playoffs, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm literally gonna be so mad.
But honestly, I think we're really like I really think. I forgot his name on the race player.
Trex.
Can someone remind me? Trex, yeah. Trex is nuts. Like especially on race and on maybe I don't know Neon, but like movement characters is really good. And I think Save for me has always been one of my favorite players ever since the beta, right? So I think we're a really strong team. It's just a bit up and down, I think. Which it shouldn't be because I think everyone knows how strong they are from scrims. So yeah, I have good hopes for them. You know, it's a team I respect a lot. You know, especially their strats and their preparation and how smart like Safe is with mid-run calling and stuff like this.
So who's qualifying for Copenhagen? Other than FPX, who are the other two teams that qualify for Copenhagen? Were you going to ask that question?
No, we don't have time, but I will let him say it real quick.
Fnatic.
And who else?
Oh.
Please say big. Just say big. No. Yeah.
I like Sexel. It's a joy to watch Big, so Big and Fnatic.
I think I would be really happy with that. Doom is giving us some absolute 2000 IQ 5-head breakdowns of the game of Valorant. If you guys want to see something less technical, less big brain, of course, less IQ, NA will be playing today. Sentinels will be taking on FaZe Up. I'm going to throw one up just for the fanboys. We haven't had enough smack on this show. You guys are too scared that people are going to call you out. I don't care. But if you guys want to see the VODs as well of everything that happened today, of course, Big making that massive upset against M3C, you can go and check them out at ValorantEsports.com/VODs. Otherwise, that is all from us. Thank you so much, Doom, for joining us. Congratulations once again. And we'll see you back here tomorrow with Guild versus BBL and Fnatic versus Focus.